So, I got a little story time for you guys today. It's about how my truck got stolen from me. I'm sure you guys can tell, obviously, by the title. Um, yeah, I don't even know where to really start. Just to give a little bit of background, I moved from Ontario to Calgary, Alberta, and I wanted to start up my own like landscaping business. And I was actually born out here in Alberta when I was younger, but my mom moved back when I was like I think like 4 years old or something like that. I think I might have even been a little bit younger. But so I moved back out here. I wanted to start my own landscape company up, and I was kind of working a shitty job to pay the bills, and I just saved up enough to buy myself a 2006 Chevy Cat Eye. If you guys know what that is, it's an older truck, but in this day and age, in this market right now, everything is so crazy expensive, and I was like kind of settled and probably paid a little bit too much for it for at the time when COVID was going on and everything was just so expensive, and finally saved up $4,000 Canadian, or I think it was like actually 4,800. I don't know, this was coming up on like 3 years ago now. And I only owned the truck for probably about, I want to say, maybe like 4 months or so, maybe a little bit less. Excuse me. And yeah, so I just bought the truck and had it for a couple months, was fixing things up on it and trying to save up money so I could actually like start up the landscape business. And it was like just about summertime, so I was like right before I was just about to start the business up. I already had it registered and everything like that, and I was just fixing up the truck to kind of get ready for the season. And so I like finally am just doing like the like tightening up the little things that needed to be done, like the belts were squealing and stuff like that. And I actually, the night before, I was gonna go get some new seats for the truck, or I like put all my tools in the truck to go to the scrapyard because I wasn't buying anything like new or anything like that, especially for these old trucks. It's hard to find parts, so I was put all my tools in the back of the truck, and I was dealing with like a last name change, so I had my birth certificate and all this other stuff in the truck. It was just a worst case scenario. I was living in a, I guess you could say, not the best neighborhood in Calgary. And so I, for some reason, don't know why, I think it's mostly because I just didn't have a lot of parking, and I was always like buying cars and stuff like that and trying to flip them. So like flip them as in get more money off them, not flip them. If some people are watching this and don't really understand. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling off now. So I parked the truck over in a like a catwalk alley, which was like right by my house. Terrible mistake. And I parked it like right along a fence line too. And so I wake up that morning. I had work, and I worked like afternoons at the time. So my like landlord needed some help because he lived upstairs. He needed help taking out the old I think it was a washer or a dryer. I don't even remember. And so I helped him take it out, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, where'd you park your truck?" Because I normally park it in like the same area every day, or at least like that truck at the time. I would park it in the alley, and I was like, "It's in the alley," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then later on in the day, like when I was leaving for work, he asked me again. He's like, "Seriously, where's your truck?" Like, and I was like, "It's parked right like out front, like in the alley there." And he was like, "Okay." And then I think I like went downstairs, got ready or whatever, and then I go out to leave to obviously get in my truck and uh, and like go to work. And then boom, I go outside, and I literally thought I was going insane because I walk out there, and obviously my truck is not there, and I was like, did I park it out back? So I run out back, and I'm like, it is not out back. And my heart just sunk to my toes. I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, again, just saved up enough money. Like, I just moved down here, trying to get like a head start, like get back on my toes. Wanted to start up the company, and boom, truck was stolen. So then I pretty much just like, and at this point, like I had an old shitty right-hand drive Subaru, so I wasn't completely out of like a vehicle or anything, which would have been like absolute worst case scenario. But so I obviously call my insurance, call the cops, and they didn't even come out because the Canadian law system, or like the police out here, it's no offense, but it is borderline a joke. Like I mean, because there's so much crime and like especially people stealing cars. It's just another day in the office for them. So they're like, they asked me if I had any cameras outside of my house. I said no, because I was living in the basement apartment at this time, and my landlord didn't have any cameras. And I went and knocked on all the neighbors' doors. They didn't have cameras, and I was like, pretty much shit out of luck. But to be honest, at the time, I was like, I was annoyed, obviously, but I was like, whatever. Like, I've got insurance, right? So then, boom, I call my insurance company, and they say to me, yeah, we'll get back to you or whatever. Like, it's an open case and all that. So I was like, all right. And then I I had, so I was waiting for their call or whatever. And then one day goes by, and they give me a call back, and they said, "Hey, you actually don't have full coverage on this truck." And I was like, "Yes, I do." And like I was pretty certain I had full coverage on my truck, because like yeah, I just, especially living in like the city and stuff, like I didn't want anything to obviously happen like this worst case scenario. So they pretty much told me, not even pretty much, they told me I'm shit out of luck. Like I'm not, they're not gonna reimburse me or anything for it because I didn't have full coverage. They even went back into like the phone calls and everything, and like I don't. They even played the recording back to me of me saying, "Oh yeah, just like the most basic coverage or whatever," which was obviously a terrible mistake on my end. But I genuinely, like, especially when it came to insurance at the time, like I said, I was always buying and selling cars, flipping cars, so I'm just so, I guess, used to saying, "Oh yeah, just throw it on insurance or whatever." So yeah, completely my fault. I'm not blaming the insurance company or anything like that, but they, yeah, like I said, they told me I'm shit out of luck, and I gotta just hope that it comes up. So a couple weeks go by. My buddy in town here, that like pretty much my first friend that I made here in Calgary, was like, "Bro, I got my truck stolen," and they pretty much just take it for a joyride, and then they bring it back, or the cops will find it somewhere. And I was not believing that. I was like, no, there's no fucking way. This shit's gonna be in a ditch, burnt on to a crisp, or in a police high like pursuit or some shit. They're gonna be doing like who knows what with my truck. I was just thinking worst case scenario at the time, because I was so distraught. I was already like that same month I was gonna like start to do quotes and stuff like that, and try and like build a clientele, and like do sod and fencing like my plan was. And yeah, so a couple of weeks go by. I was actually on vacation. I was in Jasper, Alberta, if anybody knows where that is, for my girlfriend's birthday. And I get, as I'm driving back, or no, sorry, it was actually while I like just showed up to work. I get a call, and it was from a police officer, and they were like, "Hey, we found your truck here." And I literally, I can't even put it into words. I was the happiest man on this planet, like just unbelievably happy, because obviously I didn't have the proper insurance and all that other shit, and I was just so like, I literally could not believe it. And then I show up there, and buddy's like, "Yeah, here's the truck or whatever," and he kind of gave me the rundown. Apparently, it was sitting there for like 4 days, and some guy called it in because it was just sitting there with the window down, and the fuse box was open on the truck, and like it was raining, and buddy like worked across the road, and he was like, "This just seems weird that a truck would be here for this long with the windows rolled down." So he called it in, thank God for him, and I'm just glad it didn't sit there any longer. But the problem was the truck didn't start, and I was not happy, honestly. Like after I went there and found out that it didn't start, I was like, God damn it! Like what could it be? Like they probably blew this thing up or something, or I don't even know. So I bring it back to my work at the time. It was like a mechanic shop, and I'm not no mechanic, but obviously, like I was saying, I've flipped cars and stuff in the past, and I know my way around vehicles, but I'm not really a big like truck guy, I guess you could say. So I get like the mechanics at my shop to look at it, and they even code read it and everything, and it would just crank but not start. And there was a diesel can in the back, so I thought maybe these dumbasses thought it was a diesel truck, because it is like a 2500 HD, but it's a 6 liter, not a like 6.6 or whatever the Duramax is. And so I pour all the fuel out of the fuel system, like jump the relay for the fuel pump, and figure it was definitely a learning experience, and checking everything. Nothing would work. I put obviously new gas in it, and like as I was taking the old gas out, I could smell that it was gas, but I was like, whatever, maybe it's like half gas, half diesel or something. No. And then, like I said, got the mechanics to code read it. They spent a little bit of time on it, but they couldn't figure it out. They were like, we got no idea. And then my one buddy that I was telling you guys about, how he was like, oh, they're just going to take it for a joyride and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to get it back. He was like, yeah, you should probably just bring it to like an actual mechanic shop, because to be fair, it was like a diesel shop that I was working at. But even like a lot of the guys there, obviously they knew their way around the gas engines as well. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try to pull the spark plugs and see how they look. It's like the last thing I could think of, because I checked all the fuses and everything, and like I said, they found the truck with the window down, so, and the fuse box was open, and there was like starting fluid on the passenger seat. So I was like, maybe they just flooded the plugs out. So I take the plugs out. My friend the whole time is saying, there's no way this is the plugs, you're wasting your time, rah 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 rah. And I was like, whatever, man. Like, it doesn't hurt to even just take a gander, see if maybe they are wet. And sure enough, I pull them out, and they're soaking wet. And I still don't really know. Like, if somebody in the comments can maybe give me a little bit of pointers or something, if you know your way around a good old Chevy. But I just don't understand how the plugs were like wet. Like maybe it wasn't starting, so they tried starting fluid or something. I truly don't know. So I throw some new plugs in it, and boom, she fires right up. And I could not tell you. Like, I'm actually getting like the shivers or whatever, like goosebumps even just thinking about it, because I was just so goddamn happy. Like, I couldn't even put it into words, because I had to get this thing towed to my work, and then like I said, like money was a little tight, so I was like, I just couldn't believe that this just happened to me. And now I have my truck back. So I was just over the moon. So happy. And yeah, like it was definitely a learning experience for me. So I put a kill switch in the truck even before bringing it home. Put a kill switch in it. So like, if people don't know what a kill switch is, it's pretty much like a little switch that you flip, and they can't start it. It goes to the fuel pump, and they hit it like somewhere in the dash, and so that this wouldn't happen to me again. And so yeah, start up the landscape company. Everything was good, and then, believe it or not, I actually moved to a different area, which was still like kind of close to downtown. And this was last winter. And I wake up one morning, and boom, truck again. It wasn't stolen this time, but they banged out the ignition, which I guess I forgot to mention too. I had to replace the ignition last time, and like, I thought of everything. I replaced everything before doing the spark plugs, because I wouldn't have thought that it would be the spark plugs either. But yeah, so I wake up, it's the middle of winter, go to my truck, and I was actually gonna go help my mom, because she just moved down, to go look at a car for her. And go hop in my truck, and fucking ignition's ripped right out of the thing again. But luckily this time, like I mentioned before, I had a a kill switch in it, so they weren't able to steal it this time. Thank God. But that's kind of the problem with these older like Chevys is you pretty well just like connect these two wires together for the anti-theft system, and and you can just put a flathead right in the ignition, and you're cruising, which is it's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. It's happened to me almost twice, but luckily the second time, because I had that kill switch, they couldn't get it. And now I've got stickers on the windows that say um, what is it, that like the GPS and GPS monitored, and like a big warning label. So, and now I've got air tags in it, kill switch. There's like even, and now I've got the full coverage. That's the biggest thing. Is like, not that I want my truck to get stolen, because it's been an amazing truck for the past like even 3 years that I've owned it, which is, believe it or not, the longest I've ever owned a car, even though I am, or a vehicle, even though I am 26 years old. But like I said, I was always buying, selling cars, and like I even said to myself, I'm gonna keep this one. It's gonna be like for the business, obviously, and yeah, I wanted to keep it. So, and it's been an amazing truck for these past couple of years. I tow with it every day, and like I said, I do landscaping, and it's been an amazing truck. So I'm very happy now that it's all done and over with. Nobody has done anything since last winter, at least, and I'm planning this winter to actually like put it in storage, so that like this isn't going to be a natural thing. Oh, and that's another thing as well, is I actually did have it in storage the one winter, and it was in Strathmore, which is like just outside of Calgary, and which is like a small town, like not a lot of people, like maybe 1,000 people live in this town, and I had it in a storage spot, and this was after I already got it back from being stolen. And I went through my first year of like actually doing landscape and all that, and somebody tried to cut the catalytic converter out of it. They broke into the storage yard, and they stole like 5 off of the school buses, and yeah, they tried to steal mine, which they didn't end up getting it. They cut like halfway through the O2 sensor, and so I had to go get my exhaust repaired up. I had to go get it welded back up, and just a poop show. Like the amount of shit that I've been through with this truck, I honestly don't ever plan on selling it now, because like the fact that it's already been through this much, and I've put like 30,000 kilometers on it already, which might not sound like a lot to you guys, but again, like I said, I've been buying and selling trucks and cars, and mostly cars, but it's yeah, no, it's been a good truck. So I'm glad to say that now that that's all done and over with. But I do wish our our like law enforcement would be a little bit better. And oh, and I'm also forgetting about another thing too. When they stole the truck, I like I mentioned earlier, I had my birth certificate in it because I was going through a last name change and all that. And they ended up trying to open up a bank account under my name with CIBC, which was just the cherry on top. This was after I already got my truck back and everything like that, and so I had to go through the credit union and put a lock on my account and all this other shit. And they ended up stealing the one of the license plates as well. So the cops ended up finding them. And this is why I do keep on mentioning about the law enforcement not being too great. Is they ended up finding the guys that did it, but I asked them, like, because they told me, like, your birth certificate and everything is here, and, like, you can come pick it up at the police station. And so I went to the police station, and I was like, can I find out, like, who did this to me? Because, like, I want to pursue, obviously, charges and everything, like, get these motherfuckers locked up for a long, long time, hopefully. Because they obviously got caught doing something else, and they were like, yeah, just email this police officer, and he'll keep you updated on everything. As long as they get charged with it, then they'll let you know. And I was like, all right, perfect. So I email him, and he's like, yep, they were charged or whatever, and like a little bit more information, and then him just telling me, like, go through the credit union, make sure you lock everything up. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, well, like, can I know who did this to me? And he was like, we'll let you know like once the charges go through and everything like that, and like just email us back in a month or two. So boom, I emailed them back in a month, no answer. Emailed them back in another month, no answer. I emailed them one more time and no answer. So never got to know who actually stole it from me, and but like I said, I'm just glad I got it back. Like I mean, obviously it would have been nice to know who actually did this to me, but it is what it is. So yep, that's the story. That's how my truck got stolen from me, and I'm hoping now that I've got two of the exact same trucks sitting out front of my house, I've got kill switches, air tags, and every single one of them got full coverage. So now I'm all covered, but I'm hoping that this doesn't ever happen to me again, because it obviously puts like downtime with my work, and it's just not a fun time. I'd rather them just leave me the fuck alone and let me do my thing. And I'm just glad I didn't have something newer without full coverage on it, because that would have been an absolute disaster. But tis what it is, right? So that's the story. Hope you guys liked it, and got some more stories if you guys want to hear about some other fun life things that have happened to me. So leave a comment down below if you want to hear about that, and hopefully over time I'll get a little bit better at storytelling. I know left things out and kind of going back and forth, but I don't really know how to edit videos yet, so I'm gonna do a little bit of research and maybe make like clean these videos up a little bit more. But for now, we're keeping it nice and raw and authentic, and a little bit of ramble here and there. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video.